Hello guys, and welcome back. So I've run the sim, I think for 20 frames, and this is the result I have. So what's happening is, I think the first part up until here is really good, and there's very little that can go wrong after this point. Now the buoyancy is taking over and everything is going upward at the same speed, but if we stop the expansion and everything and just let it go up with all this interesting details, it's gonna look really good. I have nothing to add to this sim in terms of emission or tweaks. I just need to balance the expansion and how fast it goes up. That's pretty much it. And if you see, we have from 0 to 11. Look at how much shapes we have. Basically from sphere we got to this point, and all this is very interesting. This is the hardest part of the sim, and by just letting the solver takes over and do its own thing with this data now, we don't have to worry about anything pretty much. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna save this as part 1. And now I want to make further tweaks, and I want to show you guys how I'm gonna make this better. So here, let's see. So first of all, I think the density is too high, so I'm gonna reduce that to 10. I think the expansion is too strong, so I'm going to lower that to 125. Lower that. Okay, and then what else? And then this is going to change quite a few things, but I want to do it now. I'm going to add a ground plane. And I don't want to trim the sphere a lot, because any change in the amount of density that we're pushing into the solver is going to change the result, and I want to move it below something like that. Okay, let's see. I'm going to reduce this back to 1, and we don't actually need this much substep, so I'm going to lower this to 1, and let me lower the resolution as well to 3 here. What else? This is good. Set that to 0.4. Yeah, we may have to lower the temperature. I don't remember if I changed that, but let's see, 3. Actually, I think we need some more substeps. So let me put back the animated substeps. So 3, and then 1, just for the first 7 frames. And then I'm gonna set the density back to 20, because that drastically changed a few things, as it is a driver for all the things pretty much. And even if we change the sim a lot, I'm not too worried, to be honest. We can get that to work, no problem. Cool. I like to get those spikes in. I don't want the expansion and the divergence to take over all those. It's really nice to get this shape. See, you have very thin, you have mid-sized spikes, you have a big volume, and this variation is really cool. So I really like to get that shape all the time. Yeah, I think this is going to work. If it goes up too high, then we can reduce the temperature or the buoyancy, both of them. And this is pretty much the same sim. I think the solver is even better than the one I used. Where is it? the robot sim? Let me find it. Yeah, this one. So let me play this with a different player. So just that mushroom shape, but look at the emission here. This is pretty much the same emission that we have right now. It's just the bottom part is probably picking more density and emitting more of that, and then it's just the rest is the solver taking over and pushing the data upward. And then the idea of the robot is really, you know, I did the explosion, and then I thought, okay, maybe I can have something that falls into it or pass through it. And I remember that I have this asset from Igor, and so I added it in there. And I did the same without the robot. It looked cool. Then I added the robot in. Okay, let's see. Let's play it. We can still play with the noise, of course, to break this up even more. Now, when the temperature accumulates into one area, it will form this, and then we'll move the data at the same speed. Yep, I think this is great. I love these guys. This is definitely very, very cool. And there's not much left to do, to be honest. Now you just sim this at a high resolution, and you have a great sim. I'm not going to change too much. I'll run this at a high resolution and see what we get. I'll run it overnight and show you guys in week 7 the result of this. I'll add a note. Quickly add note to this. Okay, let's see. I want to continue now. So we have this, which is great. Now let's see what we can do to make something different. I'm going to show you how easy it is, actually. Okay, cool. So let's see where the sphere is. Okay, so the sphere is not really making good use of that. So I'm going to increase it 6 times. Four times, and let's move it upward. I wanted more data to be available for these guys, for the pump to push in, because by themselves they don't do anything really. Okay, let's see what we get now. This is with the exact same thing, not changing anything. Yeah, and it's creating a much more interesting. Now this is going to look similar to this, and it's going to have a much more interesting result, I think, towards the end. I still don't like the fact that there is only one mushroom here, one big shape, but I think we can still break that up by varying the initial emission. Let's see what we get. Yep, so it's a completely different sim. It's gonna create a lot more interesting shapes, probably, because we have a lot of the velocity being injected and varying the sim, and we also have more density coming in. So I'm gonna let this run, and I'll show you guys with that small changing the density size, we're gonna get something completely different. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in a bit.